So welcome to the first installment of this landing page audit that I'll be doing for Brain FM. And for those who don't know who Brain FM, who they are or what they do, so they create focus music for people who people who have ADHD. So yeah, I'm going to be going through their landing page, seeing what works and seeing what could be improved. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So I done a little bit of not a little bit of research. I've done some research and I found out that Brain FM is running Facebook ads. So the thing that I want to talk to you guys about in terms of when it comes to running ads, you have to consider the traffic, where your traffic's coming from. So the distinction is somebody who is coming from Google, or they're searching on Google for perhaps a solution to help them focus better. They have a higher buying intent. So they know what their problem is, they know the solution, and now they're looking for a product to solve that problem. So their buying intent is much higher. So your messaging can be more direct. You can throw an offer in front of them. Whereas if your traffic is coming from a social platform like Facebook or Instagram, your messaging has to be different, because if you think about it, these people are not sat around waiting for your ads to come around. They're sat scrolling, probably stalking their ex or sharing memes or whatever it might be that people do on Facebook nowadays. I don't know, I'm not on there. So your messaging has to be different compared to if your traffic was coming from Google. So you in terms of the traffic from Facebook, you have to be a bit more indirect with when you're talking to people, because they're not in that stage where they're ready to buy yet. They're more so exploring, or they probably don't even know that they have a problem. So you want to be nurturing them or educating them on the offer, the product that you're providing and what it's about and how it can help them. So that's what I mean by your messaging must be different compared to if people are coming to your site or your website from Google. So for example, when you go on to the ad library here, you see that you see that Brain FM is running Facebook ads. So when you click on it, this is what you see. Okay. Let me make this a little bit smaller. This is what you will see. So this is their landing page, if you like, and it's going to look a bit different on my screen because I'm on my laptop, so it's going to be bigger. It will look different if you're on your phone. Now let's talk about what's working and what isn't. So we see they say the first music made for ADHD, and then they have a little subhead which is shown in peer-reviewed studies to increase focused brainwaves by 119% and improve sustained attention task in users with ADHD symptoms. What I would say with this is that I like the fact that they use the numbers so specific, so they're not just throwing out random stats. But what I would say when it comes to a landing page, especially when you're running ads, it needs to be very focused on asking for one outcome, one action. So you, as a business, you need to be thinking, okay, what's the desired action I want the visitors to take? Now, when it comes to above the fold, which is what we're looking at right now, and the above the fold is basically the first bit of page that you land on when you click on any website, which is this screen that you see here right now. So there's certain elements that need to be present for your above the fold to be effective. One, it needs to have a headline. It also needs to have a subhead where it tells you how you can help people, how you can achieve their desired outcome. You need some social proof, and you need some visual elements and a call to action. I mean, they do have a call to action here, but it's not value oriented. And what I mean by that is that people are not gonna just want to go to the web app because that doesn't give them a desired outcome. That's not what they're looking for. So there could be how Brain FM could structure their page is, for example, let me show you guys here what I've done. So the distinction here we want to make, guys, is that you got to think about it like this. You have to think about the context in where somebody will use this app. It's not going to be a thing of, even if somebody has ADHD, not just going to be wanting a focus app unless they're doing actual deep work. For example, you're an entrepreneur or you're a creator or you're a professional. So what is the context is this music app or this focus app is being used in? And that's what we need to focus on. So we also need to consider that you also have competitors, whether they're better than you or not. The conversation that's going to be happening in people's head is like, why would I sign up to this and add another subscription to my bank account when I already have YouTube or Spotify? So it's important that you don't just make this as like an alternative to YouTube or to Spotify. What you want to Brain FM want to do is position themselves as a focus tool. And what do I mean by that is like, for example, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Notion. Notion has, people think of Notion as a second brain. So that's the tool for their second brain when they want to dump what's in their head into a platform where they have all their ideas where they can easily access. So, Notion is a tool for like somebody's second brain. What other softwares are out there that people use? Slack, for example, is a tool when you for communications. Whereas Brain FM, they should focus and position themselves as a tool for focus. So it differentiates themselves. So it's not just a music app. It's not for entertainment. This is a tool for when you want to do deep work and when you want to focus. So that's why I went ahead and so this is just, obviously this is on Google Docs, guys. I'm no designer. The messaging is more important than design. Obviously the design is important, but if the words on the screen is not saying the right things, the design doesn't matter. So let's just focus on the copy. So what you have here, you would call this the eyebrow, and this is basically calling out the people that you're trying to reach out to. So it says, want an ADHD tool for focused deep work sessions. So you see how I've called out the people that this is for. So it's people with ADHD, and that is a tool. You want a tool that's going to help you focus, not just another app to play focus music, because people are just going to be like, why can't I just use Spotify or YouTube to get focus music? Why would I sign up to this? And then this is the outcome they want for focused deep work sessions, because that's the reason why people would click this, is because they have work that they need to do and they want something that's going to help them focus. Otherwise, people are not going to sign up to this because there's no job to be done, if you get what I mean. So that's the eyebrow. So want an ADHD tool for focused deep work sessions, and you put it as a question, and then the headline is enter deep flow states with music engineered by neuroscientists. And this has a benefit. So it's like, that's what people want. People want to enter a deep flow state so they can do good work, deep work, and finish their targets or their deadlines. So, and I put engineered here for a reason, because on some of the copy on Brain FM, they say music made by, by science or something like along the lines of that. But it's like, you want to position yourself as, okay, this isn't just a curated playlist that somebody's found on Spotify. This is actually engineered by people, by neuroscientists. And that is their claim, is that all of these music that they're providing for people with ADHD is created by science or scientists. So that's why I went ahead and put, so enter deep flow states with music engineered by neuroscientists. So it gets that authority it's going. So when people see that, they're like, oh, okay, this sounds different compared to the first music made for ADHD, because you want to differentiate yourself, so people are not going to be like, oh, well, why can't I just get this on Spotify or YouTube or whatever, wherever they go to get music from. Now, when it comes to the subhead, we have a little paragraph here where it says, effortlessly slip into deep work mode so you can write more, create more, and hit your deadlines with Brain FM's science-backed focus tool. So notice here, guys, I'm saying they can write more, create more, and hit deadlines, because that's what people would want to use this tool for. Is people are doing work and they want to connect, they want to go into deep work and save time and not take ages. As two people with ADHD, we take so long to focus, or we're easily distracted. So we want something that's going to help us. And you see here again, I use a science-backed focus tool. So we want it to be about, we want to position it as a tool for focus. It's not just another app. It's not an alternative. It's a replacement for example, your YouTube or your Spotify, who provides sort of curated AI binaural beats and all of this. So this is the replacement for all of that. So it's like, if you want to focus, here is this one tool that does one thing and gets the job done for you. So that is that subhead there. Then you have here as well where it says enter deep work mode within 15 minutes of listening. That is one of their claims, and it's also focus tracks tailored to you plus ADHD mode. And that's one, because I've signed up to their subscription. I'm not endorsing them, guys. I'm just telling you what it's like. So when you first sign up, you are able to pick what kind of music you're into, and you go through a little quiz that they ask you at the start, and then it curates the kind of music that you're into. And then you also have an ADHD mode, and where you can go into. Obviously, they can talk about this later down in the landing page, which I'm going to be sharing in another installment, in another episode, because this is going to be quite lengthy. Yeah, so enter deep work mode within 15 minutes of listening, because that's one of the things people are going to be thinking, like, well, how long does it take for me to get into focus? So that handled that objection there. And then another thing, which is sort of like a friction remover, is that no credit card needed. Try Brain FM free for 14 days. Because you have to think about it like this. As I said, if you're talking to people on Facebook, they're not actively looking for a solution. They probably don't even know they have a problem. So people are not going to, the distance from, seeing your ad then signing up is way too far. That's too much of an ask. So you have to, ask less of them. And what better way to do that than to just let people try it for 14 days. And, if it works for them, it works for them. So no credit card needed, friction remover, and then they can try it for 14 days. And then I call this obviously, this is my call to action button, but I like to call it call to value, where it's like, help me to focus, because that's what they want. They don't want to go to web app, they want something that's going to help them with the problem they have. So help me to focus is the call to action, and that will be the call to action button. And also below there, you obviously as well, stating the obvious. This isn't how you would lay it out on a actual landing page, but I want you guys to focus more on the wording or the copy page, because that's what's important. That's what's going to move people. And obviously the social proof element, where it's like trusted by over 100,000 ADHDers. And that's kind of like a little phrase, a little term they call people with ADHD. So it's like, it's a form of identification that, other people who have ADHD over 100,000, wow, this must work. And so they have the ability to try this for 14 days. There's no credit card needed. That's going to prompt people to go ahead and try it. What I would say, just going back on here, I would, because on the landing page, you need some sort of visual. And yes, we have the lady here with the brain, but to me, it doesn't do enough in terms of what it is that they're gonna. We want to show people exactly what they're going to be getting so they can paint a picture. So I don't know, even for example, like a picture of what the app looks like inside, or in my opinion, and this is all about testing as well, you could have a section where you have a video here where they can play, not of actual video, but just like the like a little a playlist where they can select a song and listen to it, whether, because on YouTube they have 30-minute segments of their tracks that that people can listen to. So if they could put that on their page, I don't know if that would affect, maybe that would affect the loading time or whatever, but something that people can actually visualize what they're actually getting, that would be great, because this by itself really doesn't tell them exactly what they're getting. And telling them to go to the web app, that's not where they are in their journey yet. They want to see if what you're offering actually works. So it's better to say, okay, try this for 14 days and then go from there, because somebody that's on Facebook we would put them in a cold audience category. So we have to think about where they are in their heads in terms of their buying journey. Are they going to go straight from just seeing your ad and not knowing who you are to be going to your web app? No, people, we're all lazy. It's a fact. We're going to choose the path of least resistance. So your landing page needs to be focused on asking them to take one action that's going to be of value to them. So when it comes to your above the fold, you need to have social proof, which they don't have here. They don't. So before anyone scrolls, this is the first page they see, then they need to be sold before they do any more scrolling. So you need to have your social proof, you need to have a call to action, or a call to value, as I like to call it, a strong visual, a headline that outlines the benefit, and also answering any objections that they might have, as like that I've put it here. So if somebody saw this, is like, oh, okay, this actually is tailored to something that I actually want, which is to find a tool that helps me focus. Now, when it comes to landing pages, guys, I'm a big believer that you should sell as much, tell the full story. And what I mean by that is that landing pages should have long copy, because people want information. And there's a saying that the more you tell, the more you sell. So in the next episode, I'm going to be talking about the belief bridge and how you can destroy the false belief people have. Like, for example, why can't I just use YouTube? Or why can't I just use binaural beats? Which Brain FM doesn't address here. And that's one of the biggest things when we're selling anything to anyone. People have already preconceived notions, preconceived beliefs, whether they're true or false. So we need to build a belief bridge. So in the next episode, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be going through that with you guys and showing you how I create. And I'm going to do it in the form of a story, because that's the best way to get to people without boring them. Using story in your marketing, it bypasses our analytical brain, and it goes straight to your emotional brain, which is on the system one. But let me not get all technical and jargony. So that is all for today. In the next episode of this, as I say, we'll discuss the belief bridge and how to build one. And yeah, I hope you found value in this. If you found this helpful, like, subscribe, share it with somebody. Share it with Brain FM. Let them see it. And yeah, man, catch you in the next one. Peace.